Hey guys, let's talk. This past week's episode on Monday was recorded the week prior with my fantastic guest Maggie Levin. I absolutely loved that conversation that we had. That same week, I also recorded an additional episode, which will come out next week, next Monday, with fantastic Krista Allen. I'm looking forward to people hearing that episode and hearing her story. This past weekend, I took a fantastic trip to Eau Claire, Wisconsin. It is my best friend Tony's hometown. Tony is the star of the feature film that I wrote and directed, and we got to finally bring our movie home for Tony, to Tony's hometown. A lot of Tony's real life in that town and his family is sort of reflected in the movie in certain aspects, and it was an incredibly emotional and rewarding experience to get to watch the movie with that group of people, with that crowd. And so my plan was to sort of sit down and re-record a little personal opening to next week's episode, where I could kind of fill you in and update you on the trip and tell you about kind of how that was, as well as share my tales of flight in which on the way there I spilled coffee on a monk, which, as bad as that sounds, was quite humorous in nature, as well as on my flight back. I sat next to the incredibly charming Casey Merrill, who is a former Green Bay Packer and former New York Giant. And between us was Christine Caron. Christine's husband was the captain of the flight, Captain Michael Caron, who has flown for 33 years, and it was his final flight, and his family was on board. And it was an emotional experience sitting next to this woman and hearing her tale of her husband and his career. And they do this sort of cool water salute where you drive through fire trucks before you take off. It was interesting. That was the plan. I wanted to kind of re-record the opening for next week's episode and kind of fill you in and tell you about some of those things in more detail than I just did. And then this Sunday, some fucking asshole decided that it was time to end the lives of as many people as he could. This guy opened fire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas into a crowd of people enjoying live music, partaking in one of the greatest things that anybody can do, enjoying something that you love with a crowd of other people. And this guy decided that that was the time in which he was going to work out whatever his issues were. 58 people lost their lives. It was the largest mass shooting in American history, which only nearly beat out the second largest most mass shooting in American history, which was just a year and a half ago at Pulse nightclub in Orlando. I mean, fucking guns. It's as simple as that. People are going to tell you don't politicize it. It's too soon to be talking about gun debates. No, it's fucking far too late to be talking about guns. And to anybody who says, we should be respecting the families of these people and not make this political, go fuck yourself. Because let's be honest, if this was a fucking terrorist attack, the first thing you'd talk about was, fucking locking down flights, and you'd politicize it immediately. Americans, also, let me rescind that. It was a fucking terrorist attack. Of course, I mean to say if it was, that done of some religious nature or radical Islamic terrorists, then of course you'd immediately politicize it. So that argument is fucking moot. You're an idiot if you have dare fucking murmured that. We have a massive fucking problem with guns in this country. And at this point, like, what the... I was an avid Second Amendment guy with the thought process of reasonable, common sense fucking gun laws. But at this point, I'm fucking over it. Fuck the Second Amendment. Fuck your Second Amendment rights, which, by the way, you probably aren't even interpreting properly. Obviously, the arguments you've heard a million times over. And let's be honest, the chances are, if you're listening to this, you're probably progressive. You're probably liberal. You're probably anti-gun. You probably agree with me, because I feel like that's sort of who's tuning in for these sorts of things. So I'm probably not converting anybody here, but I'm incredibly frustrated, and I'm just voicing a frustration with a country that refuses to do anything. Not that it refuses to do this one thing, but it literally refuses to seemingly do fucking anything. Unfortunately, things like this are going to happen. That's literally what we're fucking hearing from politicians. We're hearing, too fucking bad. That's the level of care. Why? Because the NRA is in everybody's fucking pockets. That's why. Because they're not allowed to say that this is a problem. Because if they say this is a problem, then they get defunded. I'm totally fine going the Australia route. At this point, I mean, let them fucking fight it. But the bottom line is that if this man did not have a fucking stockpile of military-grade, long-range, automatic fucking assault rifles and weapons, that this shit would not happen. It's as simple as that. And you might say, oh, he would find another way. No, he would not find another way to kill 60 people and hurt hundreds more in the matter of moments. It's going to take me more time to post this fucking audio program than it did for this guy to ruin the lives of fucking hundreds of people. No, fuck that. Thousands, millions of people, because this sort of thing affects everybody. We now live in a world where this has happened. Where somebody fired into a crowd of human beings like fish in a fucking barrel. Mercilessly. And sadness and anger and fucking rage is perfectly acceptable. Because it's only going to get worse if we do nothing. Doing nothing solves fucking nothing. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the thing that we do. Maybe if we can't rid ourselves of every fucking weapon. At this point, I don't even give a shit about your shitty fucking 6-shooter. I'm over it. But if we can't implement, anything, literally anything, then maybe the answer is more guns. Maybe every single fucking man, woman, child, fucking dog, and deer needs to be fucking strapped to the brim with fucking AKs and M16s. Fuck it, let's hand out some goddamn rocket launchers while we're at it. Maybe then we'll be in this perfect, peaceful utopia. Let's try it. Why not? I mean, we're not doing anything else. Let's put a gun in everybody's hand, and let's see how good that works out for us. The fucking NRA. Fuck the NRA. The NRA is a terrorist organization, and if you don't fucking realize that, then you're dense. They are making money off of the lives of American people, of men, women, and children, of husbands and wives, and sons and daughters, and parents. And yet you tout the Second Amendment like it fucking matters. One person's life is worth it. Just one. One is too many. One person who's somebody's child or parent. Meanwhile, the gun death toll in this country, I don't even fucking need to tell you, There are as many mass shootings this year as there are days. Vegas wasn't even the only mass shooting that day. I mean, what is wrong with our fucking country? Ultimately, at the end of the day, we'll probably never know a fucking motive. And as this horrific thing is happening, of course, all anybody is thinking is, God, I hope it's not a guy that stands for the things I stand for, because that's what it's come to in this country. That's where we live now. We live in a world where somebody starts shooting up, and the fucking right-wing Republicans thinks, God, I hope this guy is Islamic. And the fucking, the left-wing liberals think, God, I hope this guy's a white, backwoods fucking redneck. And honestly, it didn't seem like he was either. Turns out, seems like he was just a regular fucking dude. Had some money. I mean, political fucking belief society seemed to be just a fucking dude. Maybe he was one of those good guys with a gun. Everybody with a gun is a good guy with a gun until they're not. I don't know. My thoughts are with the families of those affected. And my actions, more importantly, will forever be with the families of those affected. Not voting is not an option. Not being proactive is no longer an option. My family lives in Vegas. My incredible 3 nieces, who I love to death, live minutes away from what is now the largest mass shooting in American history. Make no mistake, guns kill people, and it is time to remedy the fucking virus that we have here in this country. I know a lot of people in the gun debate like to compare guns to cars. They say cars are just as deadly. If I hear one more fucking person mention a car to me in a gun debate, I'm going to go drive myself. It's time to do something. I mean, what the fuck? 58 people, all with a story just like every guest I've ever had on Elaborate. These are all people rich with opinions and lives and struggles and tales to tell. Tales that nobody will ever hear. And a story that's ended. Hannah Ehlers, 34. Heather Alvarado, 35. Doreen Anderson. Carrie Barnett, 34. Jack Beaton, 54. Steve Berger, 44. Denise Bertudis, 50. Sandy Casey, 35. Andrea Castilla, 28. Denise Cohen, 58. Austin Davis, 29. Thomas Day Jr., 42. Christiana Duarte, 22 years old. Stacy Etchber. Kerry Galvin, 31. Dana Gardner, 52. Angie Gomez, 20 years old. She had a twin, just like my mom. Charleston Hartfield, Las Vegas police officer, member of the armed services. Christopher Hazencombe, 44. Jennifer Irvine, 42. Nicole Kimura, 38. Jessica Klimchuk. Carly Kriebom, 33. Rhonda LaRoque, 42. Victor Link, 55. Jordan McEldoon, 23 years old. Casey Brianne Meadows, 28. Sonny Melton. Patty Mestis, 67. Austin Meyer, it was his 24th birthday. Adrienne Murfitt, 35. Rachel Parker, 33. Jenny Parks. Carrie Parsons. Lisa Patterson, 46. John Fippen, 57. Melissa Ramirez, 26. Jordan Rivera, 21 years old. Quentin Robbins, 20 years old. Cameron Robinson, 27 years old. Rakio Guillen Roca, 40 years old. Tara Rowe, 34. Lisa Romero Muniz, 48. Christopher Roybal, 28. Brian Schwanbeck, 61. Bailey Schweitzer, 20. Laura Ship, 50. Erica Silva, 22. Susan Smith, 53. Brennan Stewart, 30. Derek Bo Taylor, 56. Nisa Tonks, 46. Michelle Vo, 32. Kurt Von Tillo, 55. Bill Wolf Jr., 42 years old. And our country continues to do nothing.